superb rooftop perch. We will give you details of this morning's qualifying too very shortly. First, let's welcome Mark and Tony, and let's talk about Juan Pablo Montoya, winner here a couple of years ago, but late in practice yesterday morning, caused an accident, say the stewards, and Juan Pablo starts from way down the back of the grid. You picked it out. You're not surprised about that, are you?
I'm not surprised at all. I mean, he's got penalised because of his actions, and the bottom line on this is you cannot brake test, you cannot lift off the throttle in a Formula 1 car in close proximity of another car, because, you know, there's 1G de-acceleration. You cause a slow up at the front of a pack, and two guys are behind, and they collect each other, and they're basically penalised in their qualifying. Somebody has to pay for it, and I think Montoya's at fault.
Any doubt in your mind, Tony, that Juan Pablo caused that accident?
No doubt whatsoever. I mean, apart from the bad blood between him and Ralf Schumacher, he felt his lap was being spoilt when the two came out of the pits. As you can see in a minute out there, there's Ralf Schumacher, David Coulthard, and Coulthard pulls out from behind the two, having been slowed by Ralf. There is Villeneuve coming up the hill, blind over Massenet there, 170 miles per hour, nowhere to go. He crunches down the inside. 3 cars taken out, extremely dangerous, lucky no one's hurt. And Juan Pablo Montoya goes back to the pits unscathed.
You've driven here many times. Here, of all places, to do something like that, it's almost unforgivable, isn't it?
It is really, yeah. I mean, you know, you're driving in the confines of these streets of Monte Carlo, the barriers are there, there's no margin for error whatsoever. And if you get somebody who slows up, where do you go? The only place you can go is against a barrier or another car, like we saw.
Jacques Villeneuve, in fact, saying that Juan Pablo Montoya could have killed him. Fierce reaction up and down the paddock. Let's gauge it now, starting with David Coulthard.
Ralf moved over, Juan passed him, and then decided to slow down and play silly buggers. As I understand it, at that point in the track, the lap before, he was doing over 200 kilometres an hour, and on that particular lap, when the incident happened, he was doing 85 kilometres an hour. He quite clearly slowed down to you know, wave to Ralf and tell him he wasn't happy, or brake test him, whatever you want to call it. And the result was that 3 cars crashed in a very dangerous part of the track, on a very dangerous track. So I think he's got off lightly.
I'm really disappointed that actually there's any action actually taken against that. I was going up the hill, as probably everybody knows. I nearly actually, Ralf cut in front of me and nearly hit me. And actually, when he moved out, I moved in front of him. But the only reason I moved in front of him is to let Villeneuve behind, because the team actually informed me Villeneuve was right behind me as I started the lap. And the people assume I did a brake test. But you know, the only real reason I move off is to avoid an accident, not to create one. And if you really look at it, the only person that really moved off and created the accident was Coulthard.
He did the same thing on the day before. He held me up as well on the day before by slowing down. So he knew that it was dangerous to do that.
We have the GPDA meetings, of which he now doesn't attend, where all the drivers are there, and our primary concern is of safety, because we'll go and, you know, thrash each other on the track as you know, as you would expect in racing, but you know, we want to do it in a safe environment, and when you do things like that, it's just mindless.
The GPDA, the Grand Prix Drivers Association, Montoya protesting his innocence, but he starts towards the back of the grid. Right, let's complete the qualifying picture for you. By the way, it seems that next weekend at the European Grand Prix, we will revert to just one qualifying session on the Saturday. Thank goodness for that.